Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this Nigel Frank event, where we'll be revealing some of the findings from our upcoming Nigel Frank Careers and Hiring Guide, which is our Business Applications edition, and that'll be followed by a Q&A session at the end. Today we'll walk you through what you need to succeed in the Microsoft Business Applications ecosystem. Whether you're a hiring manager or a professional, we'll go through some interesting insights for you to succeed in the Microsoft ecosystem. Before we jump into the details, let's look at what we'll be covering today on the agenda. I'll introduce myself and my co-host Rachael Anderson, who will be hosting the event with me, where we'll also give you an insight into what we do here at Nigel Frank, as well as including our yearly study, the Careers and Hiring Guide. We'll then move to what you're probably here for, an exclusive look at our report results. After the key takeaways from the event, we'll hold our Q&A session at the end, so feel free to post any questions in the chat throughout the event. Rachael and I will get to them at the end of the session. Introductions first. So my name's Craig Allen. I am director for Nigel Frank International. I started with the company back in 2007. So I've been here a very long time and seen us kind of grow from a startup to what we are today.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachael Anderson, Head of Client Services at Nigel Frank. I joined Craig in 2010, so I've been working at Frank Recruitment Group for over 10 years. And during this time, I've had the opportunity to support a large range of clients, from Microsoft partners through to GSIs and end users, to fulfill their Microsoft niche staffing needs. I've also assisted candidates throughout Europe in finding their next progression steps in their Microsoft careers.
Thanks, Rachael. So now let's focus on Nigel Frank for a minute. If you're not already familiar with us, here's a snapshot of who we are and what we do. We're recognized as the global leaders in the Microsoft recruitment market. Our sole focus is Microsoft Tech, with more than 500 dedicated consultants globally. We place thousands of candidates with thousands of organizations, including SMEs, enterprise, and Fortune 500 companies, right the way through to ISVs and the partner community. In short, we know the market inside out, and we can help you find either your ideal candidate or your dream job in the business apps industry. Part of our work includes the Nigel Frank Careers and Hiring Guide, Biz Apps edition. It's the most comprehensive report of its kind. We cover points such as salaries, including a city-by-city salary breakdown, benefits, products, certs, D&I, market trends, and a load more. There's around 87,900 data points, and then we include career advice from professionals in the field, such as leading MVPs and Microsoft experts. If you're after an all-round view of the industry from people who live and breathe Microsoft and its products, then this guide's totally for you. Okay, so before we start, what we're going to do is have a quick look at some of the years of experience our professionals have working within Microsoft Biz Apps. Most of the professionals surveyed have been in the tech industry between 11 to 20 years. And the average working experience within Microsoft Dynamics is between 4 to 6, with most professionals working for just 1 year with Microsoft Power Platform. For hiring managers, these stats can be incredibly useful to see what's available on the hiring market. You can draft better job adverts, measure your expectations, and optimize your hiring process, and ensure you're not missing out on any valuable tech talent solely because they haven't worked with business applications yet. Tech professionals can bring a new insight, approach, and a set of transferable skills, which in a talent-hungry market like this one, they can either make or break your hiring strategy. There's no doubt that experience plays an important role in your value and earning potential as a candidate. It tops the list again this year as the most significant influence on salary, followed by years of experience in tech and exposure to large projects. So, to land your dream job, make sure that your resume showcases any work you've done on large projects, as well as an in-depth look into any work you've done with business applications or IT. Candidates seem to have quite mixed opinions about the need for a degree to work within business applications, but most believe they make you more marketable. So, if you're just getting started with Biz Apps or seeking a way to enter the industry competitively, certifications will certainly help. So why do certifications matter? In short, they demonstrate more knowledge about business application products while naturally bringing many sought-after skills and added value to the organization and trust from employers. With up to 81% of employers having paid for their employee certifications, either in full or partially, Most organisations are aware of the benefit that they bring. Those who aren't risk losing their competitive edge, especially with candidates on the lookout for professional and career development and are willing to leave their current employer in favour of one who supports their growth instead. So, certifications matter, but which ones matter the most? While this might be quite subjective, fundamental certifications are among the most held certs in the community. The further down the list we go, we do gradually move on to intermediate and finally expert certifications. So if you're looking to stand out amongst the competition, one way to do this is to find your niche once you get the basics covered, as it's likely to help you provide value to the company you work for in both time and dollars. Plus, the rarer you are, the more valuable you are likely to be to any future employer. Moving on to job satisfaction, what makes employees happy in their workplace? For candidates, if you find your non-negotiables are ranked at the bottom of the list, you'll probably need to look harder for your ideal employer to ensure long-term satisfaction in your role. For employers, if you've been asking yourself, what do employees want? This list can help provide you with possible answers. Most people seem to be dissatisfied with training and development opportunities. Look for any current gaps you have and think about how you might fill them. With just over 50% of perm employees expecting to work for their current employer this year, doing so should be one of your top priorities. Understanding why people are leaving their current roles can help you set better attraction and retention strategies. Especially in such a talent-hungry market, it's never been more crucial to adapt. And I think we can all agree that employees are looking for further growth, development, and ultimately better compensation to reflect this. Hiring new talent will always be more expensive than retaining your current team. So any investment you make in this area will benefit your business in the long term, particularly in the current economic climate that we're in. Professionals are moving in the ecosystem, but where are they moving to? We've mentioned already that 56% of perm professionals expect to work for their current employer in the coming year, but it doesn't necessarily mean they'll be moving to another end user. In fact, almost 1 of every 4 professionals in permanent roles told us they're considering switching to freelancing, and a further 68% told us they'd like to work for a Microsoft partner or cloud solution provider. Among the top reasons cited as reasons why professionals are moving from a permanent role to a role with a partner, we can easily spot the pursuit for more challenges, development, and remuneration. As partners look to attract talent from the end user background, or end user simply preventing talent loss, ensuring you're providing enough enticing work, ample growth opportunities, and competitive salaries will help you attract such talent. With regards to the freelancing ecosystem, we can observe the same pattern in the motives behind professionals considering moving from a permanent role to the freelancer market. Being able to build your own workload can really up professionals' earning potential, and the flexibility in lifestyle and variety of projects that come with freelancers always lure professionals into going solo. Realistically, there will always be people who just want to make this switch, but re-evaluating remuneration, providing a diverse range of projects and adding a further flexibility to roles can help you prevent losing talent, especially those who might still be on the fence about making this decision in the first place.
Employee burnout has become a top concern for most employers right now, especially as demand and consequently workloads for tech professionals have increased exponentially during these past years. Fighting burnout with benefits isn't an exhaustive solution, but they definitely help, especially if they're created to support employees' work-life balance and providing them with career growth alongside it. With up to 35% of permanent Microsoft Business Apps professionals telling us that they've experienced burnout in their current role, drafting a great benefits package can not only make you more attractive as an employer, but it will also back your teams and overall business health too. When it comes to the digital skills gap, it's hard to talk about tech without mentioning this, as it's been affecting the industry for years now. An astounding 60% of hiring managers believe there is an IT skills gap in the Microsoft Business Apps community. Closing the digital skills gaps isn't as straightforward, but employers can help to bridge it. We've already started to build a picture of what employees are looking for right now, which can help attract skilled talent. Similarly, upskilling your current workforce means hiring internally, helping you to save time and money while giving your employees learning and development opportunities. This is a clear win-win. What about attracting currently unemployed professionals? To cast a wider net as an employer and maintain a competitive advantage, you must understand the reasons that are driving someone away from the workforce, as well as what motivates them to rejoin the hiring market. Professionals seem to agree that work-life balance, a good salary, and to pursue valuable work will draw them back to the job market, mirroring the trends that we've seen during the Great Resignation. Especially as the younger generations continue to enter and progress through the industry, it's unlikely that we'll see an end to these tendencies anytime soon. Remuneration might not be the top priority for all employees, but it will always be a key factor when it comes to employee satisfaction and talent attraction. If you haven't already, make sure you have a solid way of determining how your employees deliver during the year, such as KPIs or OKRs. With periodical performance reviews, you can then measure your performance against these targets, whether you're an employee or an employer, helping you to benchmark your current salary against one that equals your experience and delivery. It's not just salaries that entice candidates to consider or accept a new role. Benefits are also an integral part of the compensation package offered to an employee. The top factors cited in the report reflect, once again, the change in priorities we've noticed during the pandemic and the Great Resignation. Most employees are looking for an employer who can support their well-being and work-life balance. They're seeking career growth opportunities and naturally to be motivated and compensated for their hard work through bonuses. Diversity, inclusion and equality has been at the forefront of topics in recent years. Given equal opportunities for everyone to grow and prosper in the ecosystem isn't just the right thing to do, but it also allows you to cast a wider net in the job market too. We've seen some notable improvements over these years around this topic, but realistically, we know there's still a long way to go. If you don't know how to go about this, try starting small and eventually build upon the foundations that you've created. In our Careers and Hiring Guide, we've included some suggestions from professionals themselves about how they think employers should tackle this topic, as well as their awareness about what their employer is doing right now in terms of EDI. I suggest taking your time to go through these findings once you download our survey, as the onus is on the employers to take a proactive approach to fostering an inclusive workplace. Although there isn't a universal solution, we must continue to have uncomfortable conversations and continuously learn and unlearn if we want to drive positive change. Flexible work is featured in most slides during this webinar, so before we close, I just wanted to touch upon the latest stats in this area. Few employers have reverted to full-time office days, with just 13% of professionals telling us they're happy to work from their office 5 days a week. Almost half of respondents picked hybrid work as their preferred working arrangement. This is perfectly in line with trends we've been seeing now that most pandemic restrictions have been eased. So offering at least some remote work days to your employees will help you to remain an attractive employer, and it will also unlock a larger talent pool. To wrap up, I'd like to quote one of the main takeaways from Microsoft's latest Work Trend Index. Employees have a new worth it equation. What people want from their jobs has changed, as did what they're ready to invest in it. They want increased well-being initiatives, better purpose, and those organisations failing to meet this equation will have a hard time attracting and retaining Microsoft talent in the years to come. So I do urge you to invest in your hiring strategy if you're an employer, and into understanding what your worth equation is as a candidate.
So we've gone through a lot of information, so appreciate your patience. But here are some of the main takeaways from today's events. We'll be sending you a link to the recording after this session so you can refer to it whenever you need. I'd also like to remind you about the Nigel Frank and Career and Hiring Guide. In it, you'll find these findings and much, much more to help you shape either your hiring or your job finding strategy during the upcoming 12 months. Whether you're an employer or professional, there's a lot you can learn through the insights, stats, and insider advice that we've included. It's available for free, and you can download it by visiting our website on nigelfrank.com. Okay, before we head to our Q&A session, I'd like to share with you some other resources we recommend for you or your team to stay up to date with Microsoft Business applications. Especially if you're just entering the ecosystem, self-learning will get you far, especially to show those much desired soft skills during the interview process. I suggest you check out this list, which is included also in the report. So we've already seen some questions popping up during the event, and now it's time for us to answer them as well as any other questions you might have. We're happy to answer anything, whether that's something we've covered today or any additional information you like or need. So post your questions in the chat box and let's get started.
Hi guys, I think there was one question around what to do if you're unemployed, and I was just going to say that probably the most important thing is just to keep learning. Do your certifications, go to as many networking events as you can, and don't just take the first job that comes to you and kind of, I would say, ruin your CV, but make it a little bit jumpy. I would keep learning, keep going to networking events, trying to get as many certifications under your belt, do as many interviews as you can, and you will find something in this type of market eventually. So that would be the advice on that one, is just keep trying to learn and keep trying to beef up your CV as much as you can.
So we've got another question. Is there any way to support my teams without paying for certifications? So with regards to this point, we kind of advise that paying for certifications, it's part of the overall cost of hiring a Microsoft professional, and certifications alongside practical implementation experience is invaluable. So if you do currently employ or are looking for a Dynamics candidate, we would factor in the cost of paying for certifications into the decision to hire or to retain tech talent. If you are paying to certify your employees as well and supporting with their continuous learning and development, then they're more likely to stay longer with your organisation. They've got more growth potential. So yeah, tech professionals, they're always looking for opportunities to learn and get hands-on practice with new features on new platforms. And considering all of this, as well as kind of the rapid pace at which technology evolves, it would be difficult to avoid contributing or paying partially towards certifications. And then we'd also advise other things such as paid time to upskill themselves through free resources such as blogs and videos, online learning. That's also can be a short-term fix. So we would highly recommend factoring in the cost of certifying and training your Microsoft professionals as part of the hiring decision.
Thanks, Rachel. There's one more question, just in regards the hiring cycle and how that's changed during the pandemic, and can we predict any hiring trends for the future? Not really is probably the answer to that. It constantly changes. I would say hiring for employees has changed in the sense that it's now much quicker. A lot of companies will hire on Teams only, and a lot of candidates will take roles off the back of Teams only rather than face to face. So my advice is to be as quick as you possibly can if you are looking to hire talent. People don't like to wait around. On the flip side, I would say that remote working's been a positive impact, but I would say most, well, not most companies, but I would say certainly 60-70% are now asking staff to come back into the office a little bit more, with the exception of maybe pure developers. So I would consider any role you take exactly what the remote policy is, because that's changing. We've got one question, I think, that's come in. It says, I've been in the, another question, I've been in the industry for 30 years or more with much experience. However, I do not have any Microsoft certifications. Will this hamper my employment chances? The answer to that, I think, is no. It depends on your product experience, and it depends on, it always depends on the type of experience that you've got. In any industry, experience kind of always outweighs certifications or qualifications in most areas. I think it certainly would help if you did, if you were looking to change roles. Anything within Biz Apps is obviously going to be a bonus, and anything particularly in relation to Azure and the cloud or Power Platform will help, depending on your background. So it certainly is a thing that's becoming more important, but experience still trumps certifications in most areas. But if you haven't got any and you're looking to change your role or change career, then I would definitely do that first. It's typically, wouldn't say easy, but the first couple of certifications you can do quite quickly and, you know, in your own time. So I would certainly do as much as you can, but 30 years of experience is a heck of a lot. So I would back yourself on that. I haven't got any other questions at this point, unless anyone else on the call has anything else that they want to ask us. Okay, well, I think we'll probably wrap up then. Thanks very much for your time. If there's any other questions you've got or any other bits of information you need, feel free to come to us directly. My email is just craig@nigelfrank.com. So feel free to come to us directly or find us on LinkedIn or whatever. And make sure you do get a copy of the salary guide as well and have a good read of it. All right, thank you.
Thanks, bye.